Welcome everyone to UTC's Advocacy Update for the fall of 2020. We're glad you're here and we look forward to telling you about all of our advocacy updates. During this presentation, you are going to hear about the top priority issues that our members have identified and on which the advocacy team regularly advocates on your behalf. The advocacy team consists of Charlotte Arts, myself, Senior Vice President of Government and External Affairs, Brett Kilburn, our Vice President of Policy and General Counsel, and Rob Thormeyer, our Senior Director of Communications and Advocacy. Those issues as detailed here include spectrum allocation, which is essential for our members' private communications networks, broadband connectivity, which has gotten tremendous interest from our members and from policymakers across the board, given the need for connectivity during this time of the pandemic. We'll also hit on poll attachments and identify some of the tools that the UTC advocacy team has created on your behalf so that you can use them in your own efforts at your local, state, and federal level. With that, I'll turn it over to Brett Kilburn to talk about one of our top priority issues, 6 gigahertz.
Thanks, Charlotte. And with respect to 6 gigahertz, there's 4 pillars of focus. With respect to comments and replies, we filed our comments and replies together with EEI and NRECA in response to the FCC's further notice proposed rulemaking. With respect to the court filings, there is currently a pending appeal of the FCC's report and order. In that appeal, the court has currently denied a stay request, and the briefing schedule is shortly going to be approved. With respect to the multi-stakeholder group, which is implementing many of the issues that the FCC delegated, that group is making slow progress, but the good news there is that the MSG has appointed Klaus and me to serve as co-chairs of the workstream number 3 with respect to AFC and also the entire multi-stakeholder group. So hopefully we'll make some more progress there. Finally, with respect to Congress, we're engaging with our other industry stakeholder members to engage in lobbying. The challenge there is the election and the stimulus are, taking up much of Congress's time right now, but we're continuing to press for Congress to consider the 6 gigahertz issue as well. With respect to broadband connectivity, 3 issues there. Really, with respect to the FCC, we've seen a lot of utilities participating in the FCC's Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. That is scheduled to begin in October 29th, the auction that is. There's $16 billion that's going to be available in phase 1, and another $4 billion is going to be available in phase 2. With respect to the FCC's Connect America Fund phase 2 funding, there were a number of utilities that were able to win $260 million in funding through that broadband funding opportunity program. And finally, with respect to USDA's Rural Utility Services Reconnect program, there's $550 million that's being made available there in various different packages, either grants, combination grants and loans, or just straight loans. So we're seeing RUS awarding funding in the Reconnect to utilities, and that's actually also good news.
Thank you for that update, Brett. This is Rob Thormeyer with the Utility Technology Council. I'm the Senior Director of Communications and Advocacy. In addition to the activity Brett outlined, we are also reaching out to policymakers at the state level, particularly at the State Public Service Commission and their association, which is called the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners, or NARUC, and also the State Consumer Advocates. We've been meeting constantly for the past couple of years with leadership at the state level, including panel discussions. We've been holding webinars, and we've been actually reaching out to state lawmakers as well. In addition, we have been holding numerous webinars. We had a packed webinar back in May about what's going on in Virginia. We've held workshops. We have one coming up next in November on 5G. And also we have just recently unveiled new collateral on our website from the Public Policy Division website that talks about all these activities that we're talking about regarding broadband expansion. The idea here is to show how utilities are truly partners in bridging the digital divide and serving the unserved and underserved. And we're seeing UTC at the forefront of this activity thanks to your work. So thank you for that. Brett, I'm going to turn things over to you to talk about pole attachments.
Thanks, Rob. So with respect to pole attachments, there are two items to discuss with respect to the FCC. One is the CTI petition on utility light poles. There, the FCC did grant in part CTI's petition, but only insofar as clarifying the rights of third-party attachers to certain parts of the unusable space on the poles. And then secondly, with respect to basically most favored nation provisions for pole attachment agreements, it deferred addressing the main issue, which was regulating utility light poles. So that's good news. On the NCTA petition on pole replacement, that is currently pending. UTC, together with EEI and NRECA, filed petition comments and replies. We've also met with several of the 8th floor offices. Good news there is that the FCC is not moving fast on that petition, so we're being told by one of the 8th floor offices, but they're not denying it either. So that's what we've asked for, and hopefully the FCC will agree that this is a petition that doesn't need to be addressed, and that the FCC should be addressing it, if at all, through an enforcement proceeding. With respect to courts, there is a decision out of the U.S. Court of Appeals to the 9th Circuit having to do with the 2018 pole attachment rules. The 9th Circuit decision generally upheld the FCC's 2018 rules. However, there is an effort underway to seek en banc review of that decision. And I'll turn it back to Rob to talk about industry activities.
Thank you, Brett. And just a reminder that we have a portion of our website, again, the Public Policy Division webpage on the utc.org website, that deals with pole attachments. There's a number of resources on there, some white papers, issue briefs, articles, interviews. The idea here is, again, to just reiterate the fact that these poles are indeed an economic superhighway. They power our country, and we just want to give our members the ammunition they need to reiterate those same messages when they go to Congress or elsewhere. It's a great resource. Please let us know if we're missing anything. It's a living resource, so we want to hear from you as to what you'd like to see added to that. And speaking of what we want to hear from you, resolutions are how you help us drive these policies in Washington and elsewhere. This is your opportunity to weigh in and give us the guidance that we need to advocate on your behalf. The Public Policy Division runs the resolutions process. The members give us their ideas for resolutions. They vote and debate them, and then the whole entire membership takes them up at the annual Telecom and Technology meeting. So please just be on the lookout for the Public Policy Division to be soliciting ideas for resolutions coming up in early 2021, so we can start this process and give us the guidance that we need to advocate on your behalf. And Charlotte, I'm going to turn things back to you to close us out.
Yeah, one of the resolutions that was adopted by our membership this year was a resolution on spectrum and taking a more holistic approach to getting access to that valuable resource. Traditionally, utilities and UTC, we have responded proceeding by proceeding in terms of the FCC's determination of when they might auction off specific spectrum. Given our role as critical infrastructure owners and operators, our members have identified the fact that if we would take a more strategic, holistic approach to thinking through how we get spectrum into the hands of critical infrastructure owners and operators, i.e. the electric utilities, we might see more efficient, more successful outcomes for all of the country. So get ready for news on a task force that will be formed in early 2021 to tackle this topic and develop some strategies around that. So we want to thank you again for joining us today to hear about how we are advocating on your behalf for your information and communications technology policy needs. Our contact information is here, and we look forward to hearing from you. Please do reach out to us, and thank you again for all the input that you provide us throughout the year in these various proceedings. We look forward to serving you. Thanks so much.